Did you know there are 3 everyday sentences that force a man to forget every other woman and go absolutely crazy for you? Hi, my name is Mirabelle Summers, and if you've ever wanted to know how to make any man you want fall so hard in love with you that it's actually embarrassing, then this video is going to change your life forever. You're about to discover an invisible yet all-powerful need in the back of every man's mind that controls literally everything he does, thinks, and feels. A need that, once you understand it, allows you to deeply connect with any man and get him to love, worship, and desire you above all others, in a way that no man is immune to. You'll also learn the 3 simple sentences any woman can use, yet less than 1% know about, that harness this same exact masculine need and use it to get any man to pick you out of a crowd and commit to you for good. Because as weird as this sounds, these 3 simple little sentences use a strange but staggeringly effective method called mental flooding that disables the critical part of his thinking and force feeds uncontrollable feelings of hungry desire and attraction directly into his subconscious mind, making his heart do somersaults of excitement in his chest every time he thinks of you, and causing him to fixate on you so deeply that no other woman will be able to satisfy him from that moment on. Even if you don't look that great, are much older, are a bit on the heavy side, and even if he's already pulling away from you or was never that interested to begin with. Oh, and the best part? These 3 simple sentences are so darn easy to use that a baby could do it. Which means if you watch to the end of this short video and put what I say into action the way hundreds of women have before you, then you will be able to make any man you want feel an immediate and uncontrollable flood of starving desire for you that puts every other woman to shame. And even the coldest, most disinterested man of them all will suddenly start to hungrily crave you, exactly like a hungry baby wailing and slobbering for a bottle. So how can I be so sure that what I'm talking about actually works? Well, because it worked on me. And in fact, my whole life exploded the first time I heard these 3 sentences out loud. Here's the story, and it starts with a shocking personal confession I've never told anyone before except my mom. I am a crazily diehard addict. But I'm not addicted to drugs, alcohol, or anything like that. Nope. I am addicted to something a lot weirder and way more upsetting. In fact, my weird addiction has made me into the least attractive and even physically ugly woman I've ever laid eyes on, because my addiction makes me pull out fistfuls and fistfuls of hair out of my own head. Yep, I turned myself into a baldy. That's my scalp just 1 year ago. And it's all because of a strange and incurable mental disorder I have that causes everyone who has it to yank out endless amounts of hair by the roots, no matter how hard you try to stop. Now, let me ask you something real quick. Now, I can't even begin to tell you the years of shame this disorder has caused me. Because no matter how hard I tried, no matter how often I went to bed crying and shaking and knowing that no man would ever want me again, I just couldn't stop myself from making it worse and worse. And through it all, I was told by countless professionals that there was no cure, no hope, and that I was destined to get balder and balder as the years went by. Now, by this point, you're probably wondering, why am I telling you all this? And how is it even useful to you anyway? Well, that's a great question. And here's the really great answer. I'm going to tell you about the weird old man who changed everything. Which means right now I need to give you an extremely intense warning. Because what I'm about to reveal now is both massively useful and massively risky. It's like if I gave you a bag of penicillin. You can use it to cure all sorts of terrible illnesses. Or you could also use it to kill somebody if they happen to be allergic. So I want you to watch carefully and only use this next bit for good, okay? All right. Here's what happened next. It was early one Saturday morning about 6 months ago when my mom came bursting into my house babbling that she'd found someone who could cure my disorder. But this someone was not a doctor, not even a therapist. Instead, it was a really scary-looking, really old guy who worked out of his car. an old guy who called himself a professional mentalist, which is otherwise known as the art and science of instinct manipulation. Now, I did not want to see this man. I mean, would you want to let some total stranger prod around inside your head? Plus, I didn't even believe in mentalist anyway, and I'd certainly never heard of anything called instinct manipulation. But I didn't want to hurt my mom's feelings, so I agreed to go. And this next bit is where things start to get spooky. See, when I got into his car, little did I know that my entire life was about to be utterly transformed forever. Because this old, skinny, bearded guy simply leaned over and mumbled 3 little sentences into my ear. Just 3 little sentences that seemed so innocent on the surface, yet had such a powerful and instant effect on my mind that I can really only describe it as a mental explosion. Now, I'm a pretty skeptical woman, and like I said, I do not believe in things like mentalist or instinct manipulation. But here's where things start to get really weird. Because the next morning, lying in bed, I reached for my bald patch to, tug out some more hair. And it was like an invisible hand came out of nowhere and ripped my hand away from my head. No matter how hard I tried, I simply couldn't do it. And in that second, my legs turned to jelly and my scalp began to prickle as I realized, holy crap. In less than 3 minutes, that crazy old man had crawled into my head and controlled my behavior from the inside. Then, as if that wasn't crazy enough, 5 days later I had an emergency situation where I was forced to try out this method on my friend without telling her what it was. Which is maybe a little sneaky, but I'll let you be the judge of that. It was a Thursday night and I was asleep in my bed when I got jerked awake by this crazy hammering on my door. Frightened, I grabbed my baseball bat and peeked outside, but the woman bashing on my door wasn't some burglar. It was my best friend Susan, looking like death warmed over. I dropped the bat, yanked open the door. She collapsed into my arms and let out this spooky wail. "John says it's over." So I sat her down and opened up my big fat mouth and immediately said the wrong thing. "Susan," I said, "I know things have been bad for months now. Or maybe a breakup could be for the best?" She stared at me with bulging eyes like I had run over her pet cat. "But I still want it to work," she cried. "It's just that every time we start getting really close, he freaks out and pulls away. He's done it before and I tried to get over it, but this time he says he means it. Please help me fix it. I'll do anything." Seeing my friend in so much pain, I wanted nothing more than to fix her heartbreak. And that's when my brain came up with the craziest, stupidest, evilest idea I've ever had. "You should give those 3 sentences to her," whispered my evil thoughts. "If they worked on you, maybe they'll work on him too." I won't lie, I was scared, but I did it anyway. I took those 3 innocent-sounding little sentences and I told all 3 of them to her. She sat bolt upright like she'd been struck by lightning. "Really?" she said, her eyes like saucers. I nodded. "But do it now, before it's too late," I said. She gave me a scared smile and left. 2 whole weeks went by, and Susan was completely AWOL. And I started to freak out. What was happening? Where was she? Finally, 3 weeks later, my office door slammed open and in burst Susan. "Susan," I yelled, "where have you been?" "I'll tell you where I've been," she said, giggling. "I've been in Italy." "What? What are you talking about?" I said, shocked. "Well," she said, smiling, "do you want the good news or the bad news?" I'll take the bad news," I said cautiously. "Okay, well, the bad news is you have to wear whatever dress I say and make a speech in public about me, because you're going to be maid of honor at the wedding." "Huh?" I said, flabbergasted. "You got engaged to some random guy in the last 3 weeks?" "No, silly," she laughed. "I'm marrying John, my boyfriend. He proposed to me in Italy." My eyes bulged and my mouth fell open. "But I thought you said he broke up with you." "Yes," she said softly, "but I guess he changed his mind, didn't he?" Then she jumped up and clamped her arms around me like a bear trap. "It was all thanks to those 3 little sentences you told me," she sobbed. "I can't believe they really worked." I thought I'd lost him forever, but now he's like putty in my hands. He's acting so in love with me, I can't even believe it. And now we're getting married, and he always told me he would never marry me, that he wasn't the marrying kind. I don't know what that thing was you told me to do, Mirabelle, but it really worked. Now you might think I'd be happy for my friend. And sure, I was glad, but honestly, inside I was panicking. I thought the sentences might help, but even I wasn't expecting this. And right about then, I got a surprise visit from my ugly alter ego. Mirabelle, you idiot, it jeered in its evil voice. Even if those sentences did work on one guy, how do you know that they'll work on every man in every situation? Plus, this method isn't even yours. What are you, a thief? I felt a sick pang of fear and guilt because I knew the voice was right. So right there, I made a snap decision to test out the sentences on more women to prove whether they really would work across the board. And I told myself I'd deal with the moral issues afterward. Over the next 4 months, I tested the sentences on 214 women who tried it out in their relationships, on their dates, and in their marriages. Sophie's boyfriend had moved 3,000 miles away for his career, and he was starting to drag his feet about the relationship and even talk about maybe seeing other people while he was away. But all that changed when she used the 3 sentences on him. She used it on him over the phone. The very next day, she woke up to an email begging her to come visit him because he couldn't bear to be away from her one more moment. And as soon as she got there, he sat her down and asked her to seriously consider moving to be with him because he said he felt totally stuck and trapped without her there by his side. Becky wrote me this email. Hello, I don't usually write in to say what I thought, but I just had to let you know what happened. My boyfriend broke up with me and said it was because he just wasn't feeling the love anymore. I was heartbroken, wanted him back so bad, but I thought he'd gone forever. Then my sister told me about you and I used your techniques with him over the phone. And straight away, it was like I had some kind of weird magic power. LOL. He immediately charged over and I almost couldn't believe it was the same man. We got back together later that night and now he's so loving and passionate I feel like when we just got together, only now it's better. Because every time we talk, I'm stunned at how easy it was. And I know that if it ever happens again, which it won't thanks to you, I will know exactly what to do to turn things around. Thank you so much, Mirabelle. You saved my relationship and I'm going to tell everyone. LOL, Becky. Then my sister, Gemma, used it on her distant, unloving boyfriend. And the very day she used my method on him, she got the biggest shock of her life. At 11 p.m. that night, I got a fake angry text from her saying, OMG, Mirabelle, went to Dan's tonight, candles and flowers everywhere. He's just finished giving me a foot massage that I didn't even ask him for. Then he asked me to move in with him. How could you never have given me these 3 sentences before? Every woman needs to know this. Now, I was euphoric that the sentences worked so well on all these women in all different situations. But I still had a huge problem. I still had to confess to the mentalist that I'd stolen his method. So, feeling sick with nerves, I called him up. I told him everything, and almost puking from fright, I begged for his forgiveness. Frankly, I was expecting him to yell at me, or maybe put a curse on me over the phone or something. But instead, he laughed. Mirabelle, he said, I knew you were a relationship coach, and I knew that if you were worth your salt, you'd want to use these 3 sentences on everyone who needs them. Honestly, I would have been disappointed if you hadn't. So you're not mad? I asked tentatively. Mad? He said. This method was designed to help people. In fact, you would be a terrible coach if you didn't use it to help your clients. I felt dizzy with relief and hope. Finally, a vote of trust from the man I owed everything to. So what are the actual sentences and how do they work? Well, I'd like to share that with you right now. You see, using these 3 simple sentences is the biggest key to making a man fall in love and commit to you for good. And the good news is, there are just 3 simple steps to using these sentences in any situation. Step 1 of 3. You have to let a man know he is safe with you. And here's exactly what I mean by that. Do you know what the one thing more fragile than a woman's heart is? Yep, it's a man's ego. Not many women know this, but every man you'll ever meet is walking around hiding behind a gigantic wall of insecurities. Insecurities about his height, his career, his looks, his lifestyle, his bank account. You name it, he's insecure about it. In fact, these male insecurities are so powerful that some men will go to any lengths to protect themselves, up to and including lying to you, cheating on you, and ultimately breaking your heart. Which is why if you want a man to drop his emotional shields and truly connect with you, you have to use womanly tenderness to tell him that he's safe with you. Spoiler alert. Until you can say this to a man so he can hear you, he'll never be able to take off his emotional armor and let you into his heart. Step 2 of 3. You have to let him know that you see and celebrate his masculine strength, which has nothing to do with his bulging biceps, or lack of them, and everything to do with the beautiful masculine vulnerability you established in Step 1. You see, if you ask a man what his greatest fear is, the answer might surprise you. Because the truth is, most men don't fear the things they say they do. And while men might talk about things like job security, income brackets, success with women, and even penis size as the things they're most scared about, the real truth is that most men fear being seen as weak more than anything else in the world. And here's why this is absolutely vital to you. You see, to most men, being emotional and seeking connection in a relationship is the same exact thing as being weak. In other words, when a man fears seeming or feeling weak in this way, his instinctive safety mechanism is to pull away emotionally, which means if you're going through a similar situation just like Sophie, Becca, or my sister Gemma, then I want you to know you are not doing anything wrong. It's not because you were too much or not enough. It's just that a man's deepest love will always be evasive until you know how to show him that you see his masculine vulnerability, not as a weakness, but as a strength, one that lights up your femininity like a Catherine wheel and earns him your womanly respect on a whole new level. Step 3. This step is all about using emotional urgency to bait a man into coming closer to you emotionally than he's ever been with a woman before. See, capturing a man's heart and getting his complete devotion forever actually has nothing to do with how he sees you, and everything to do with framing how you see yourself. In other words, you have to let him know that you see yourself as a beautiful, strong woman, and that you are choosing to give him your heart because he is worthy of your love. Do this, and the feelings he's had for other women suddenly seem faded, drained, almost meaningless compared to the passionate desire and heart-pumping obsession he now feels for you. Because for a man's excitement and passion to grow over time, instead of fading away like it does for most women, he has to feel like he's earning your love, that you are a prize that he's won. And when you know how to do this, well, that's when something weird happens. Suddenly, he takes his foot off the brakes and floors the gas in your relationship, because now he feels truly alive in a relationship for the first time ever, and his heart will belong to you and only to you, forever. Okay, Mirabelle, that sounds great. But how do I actually do all of that? Well, that's a really great question. And here's a quick story that answers that question perfectly. You see, during the testing of this 3-step method and of the 3 simple sentences that put it all into practice, there were literally dozens of women clamoring to get their hands on it. And the whole time I was heavily anxious because I knew these women were dealing with catastrophic pain in their relationships, and they needed this method now. Finally, one day, an extremely upset lady finally just said, "Mirabelle, my man is going to leave me if I don't do something. I need to take action now. Can't you just make this into a course or something so we can all have access to it right away?" Immediately, I face-palmed myself right in the forehead. Why didn't I think of that? Immediately, I set to work with a thrill of determination. I took my notes from The Mentalist and my results and testimonials from all the hundreds of women who tested it out already. And with all these ideas zipping around in my head, I started to write. With every new idea that slammed into my brain, I could literally feel my body howling like a wolf with excitement. I pounded every word into my computer with fingers that moved so fast they nearly set my keyboard on fire. And after months of hard work, typing until my fingers were cramping and my eyes were red and raw from all the late nights, I did it. I'd boiled all my research, experience, and results down into the most concentrated, focused, intensely potent form possible. A deadly effective, mind-boggling, powerful step-by-step course I now call Wrap Him Around Your Finger, the secret 3-step method to getting any guy's love and devotion forever. And this is the only course in the world that works to create a mental fixation inside any man's brain to please you, fulfill your needs, and make you his and only his forever. Here's a teeny sample of what you're going to get. First, you'll discover the monogamy junkie method. And this one sounds weird at first, but here's a hint. This is the same exact method that my best friend Susan used on her previously unloving man to get him to fall to his knees and beg to marry her just 2 weeks after he broke up with her for good. And you can use this method on a man in any stage of the relationship to make him feel such an intensity of never-ending love and desire for you that he will eagerly crave to take your relationship to the next level. Next, the secret window technique that basically cuts away his face and turns his head into a private viewing window into his brain that only you can see through. So that even if he's aloof, deadpan, or really good at hiding his thoughts, with the secret window, you can peer directly into his mind and read exactly what's happening in there no matter what. This will allow you to always know exactly what to do, to literally read his thoughts like a book and draw back the curtain on all the lies, distance, and secrets he's trying to hide, allowing you to create a connection with him so deep that other women can't even imagine it. Next, a simple trick to easily transform any man into the emotionally sensitive, passionate guy you've always wanted, so you never have to feel invisible, hopeless, or unwanted by a man ever again. Now here's how talking to a man so he will listen is just like cooking a pre-made dinner in the microwave. Simply flip the switch and then sit back and watch as the heat in your relationship builds to incredible levels. Next, 9 quick fixes you can use tonight to immediately boost a man's level of commitment and investment in being with you. Any one of these 9 things will multiply his desire for you and have him bellowing his love from the rooftops. Pop quiz. What are the 5 biggest secret beefs men have with the women they love? And why do these secret complaints cause even the best men to fall out of love with you over time? Tip. These secret complaints are the reason why he can suddenly erupt with disgust and contempt, like chunks of repulsive vomit spewing out of his mouth, even when you thought everything was fine. Sounds pretty bad, right? Well, here's the David and Goliath phrase, a powerful yet tiny secret phrase that has the power to destroy any man's silent complaints about you with one well-placed comment, even when his problems seem big enough to destroy his desire for you permanently. Next, here's why true commitment and closeness is different for guys than it is for women, and a simple emotional shift you can make that will have even the biggest player of them all experiencing true commitment the way you want him to. This makes the big difference between a man acting selfish and unloving and having him pouring out his heart with passionate love for you. You're going to love this next one. Here's how to use the generous genie method to have him desperate to grant your wishes and make you happy. And if you've been hoping for a big romantic gesture from that man, like that unloving man who seems to have forgotten how to show you his love for you at all, Whether it's a really classy date where he pulls out all the stops to impress and charm you, a phone call from your ex begging you for another chance, a sexy, romantic vacation where he makes you feel like the queen of his heart and mind, or maybe a delicious kiss, a beautiful ring, and a heartfelt request to let him take care of you forever. Then the generous genie is going to put a smile on your face like a kid on Christmas morning. And that's not even half of what you'll get in my system. And I'm sure you can imagine that even just one of these techniques, even if you use it once, has the power to permanently transform your love life for the better. In fact, I want you to take a deep breath and imagine something with me. Imagine what it will feel like when you open your mouth and use this method on the man you want, even that man who previously despised you or completely turned his back on you. How will it feel when you see him suddenly wrap you in his arms and tell you with hunger in his eyes that he could love you for 10,000 lifetimes and still never get enough? And imagine the sensation of biting down on a smile as you see the expression of green-eyed envy on other women's faces, because they're almost sick with jealousy at the way men queue up around the block to ask you for a date and don't even give them a second glance. Imagine how it will feel when that previously unloving, cold-hearted man suddenly starts to look at you tenderly, touch you eagerly, and spoil you senselessly just to show you how much he cares. Imagine how you'll feel when you're sitting at dinner with that man, and the pretty waitress tries to flirt with him right in front of you, and he doesn't even notice her because yours is the only face he finds beautiful. Yours is the only face he wants to see on the pillow next to him, and your lips are the only lips he wants to kiss now and forever. Is that kind of power something you'd like to have? I think we can both agree that the fact you're still watching means your answer is yes. So what's the next step? Well, the price of my course is $197. However, I have another confession to make. See, I know that a price of $197 means that some women just can't afford it. And my mission here is to empower women like you. After sharing some of my deepest secrets with you today, I feel like we're friends. I feel like I know you. And that makes me want to empower you with the ability to have a man not just want, but crave to make you happy in the same way a drowning man craves oxygen. Therefore, I'm going to do something really stupid right now, because I truly want to make this decision not just simple, but as blindingly obvious, completely tempting, and as ridiculously easy as possible for you. For you today, I'm going to take a huge financial hit and pay $150 out of my own pocket. So you're not going to pay $197. You're not going to pay $147. Heck, you're not even going to pay $107. Instead, I'm going to give you the full wrap him around your finger system for just one teensy payment of only $47 right now. Just click the big Add to Cart button below, claim your place in my course, and I'll start walking you through the 3-step method of making any man crave to be yours and only yours forever, right now. You really do have to act now, though, because I have hundreds of women in line for this method, and hundreds more who've already paid my hourly rate of hundreds of dollars for my private training. And it just wouldn't be fair on all those women to give out this course at such a huge discount when they've already paid so much. Therefore, this offer is strictly limited to the first 500 women in line for this course. Now, since you're still watching, that means your space is still available and hasn't been nabbed by another woman yet. But if you decide to sacrifice your place in the queue and go off to think about it, then the next woman in line will take your place, and you will probably lose your chance forever to get in on this amazing deal. Therefore, it's extremely important that you act right now. So I want you to move your cursor to the bottom of the screen and click the big Add to Cart button you see right now. Plus, just to make it a ridiculously easy decision for you, I'm also going to give you 3 amazing gifts that are only available on this video today to women who act before this video ends. First, you're going to get the intensive, irresistible confidence training interview with Marnie Kinrys and me, a dollar value of $67. You'll learn why being nice doesn't necessarily mean you'll get the love you deserve. And in just moments of applying the tips you'll get in this exclusive interview, you'll notice men treating you differently, looking at you with that loving heat in his eyes. and telling you that there's just something about you that makes him want to be around you all the time. Your second gift is called 12 Reasons He's Not Seeing You as the One. I've developed this advanced material course, $97 value, that reveals the secret love formula that makes a man fall in love and stay in love. The 12 secrets you'll get in this course will have even the most commitment-phobic man of them all feeling absolutely obsessed with the idea of making you his and only his. Because as you'll learn in this course, it's not how you dress, how old you are, or how you look that matters. It's whether you know how to get a man to see you as the prize that he desperately craves to win and feels incredibly lucky to have. Your third gift is something that's more than a wee bit controversial. It's a very special report on how to get a man's desire actions. Did you know that every man has two types of desire? There's the type of desire where he thinks nice thoughts about you, but never actually acts on those thoughts. And then there's the type of desire where he can't stop himself from doing amazing things for you just to see you smile. Whether that's asking you to be his exclusive girlfriend, surprising you with a totally unexpected gift, or maybe sliding a ring on your finger and kissing you so passionately you feel like your heart's about to burst. Normally, I charge clients my hourly rate of $250 an hour for the same exact secrets that you're about to get here for free. In fact, in the future, I will be selling these secrets as an entirely separate product, which will be priced at least $127. Yet today only, I'm going to skip the $127 price tag and my hourly rate and flat out give it to you free. So let's add it up. If you act before this video ends, then you get Wrap Him Around Your Finger System, valued at $197, Irresistible Confidence, $67, Hidden Male Desires, valued at $97, Unleash His Desire Actions, $400. That's a total value, $761. Get started now for just $47. That means you're saving a stupendous $741. And of course, you're not even risking a single dime anyway, because you're completely covered by my ironclad, 100% money back, no questions asked guarantee. Here's how it works. You invest in the Wrap Him Around Your Finger 3-step system right now. Use the ridiculously simple step-by-step instructions. You're going to have so much fun. And if over the next 60 days, you don't feel that the man you want is showering you with so much love and desire you think you're in heaven, or even for no real reason at all, then just send me a quick email. I'll give you every dime back right away, and you and I can still be friends. So why am I being so incredibly generous? Well, because I want you to experience this incredible pleasure and delight for yourself. Because I know how well it works. I've seen the proof with hundreds of women. I've seen my friends use it on their boyfriends and husbands. My sister uses it on her man. My mom uses it on my dad. I use it on my husband. I know it works. And that's why I'm willing to shoulder all the risk myself so you don't risk a dime. Just click the Add to Cart button below this page right now. I'll take you to the order page and walk you through the process. The payment site is completely safe and guaranteed by McAfee Antivirus and VeriSign, so you know you're completely protected at all times. Just use your credit card, debit card, or PayPal, and download your course to your phone, tablet, or computer. Access to my course is immediate and digital, so you can be soaking it all up inside of just 2 minutes from now. Then I want you to immediately turn to page 16. Just read the first 10 lines on top of that page. Within the first 5 minutes, you'll feel your blood boiling and bubbling with excitement as you realize that those 10 lines alone will get you more pleasure and adoration from the man you want tonight than you've gotten from any man in the entire past decade of your life. Simply click the button below and it's all yours in less than 2 minutes from now. And look, what you're getting in this package is worth literally thousands of dollars. Normally, you wouldn't be able to receive my relationships coaching at all. You'd have to get on the waiting list, fly to my hometown, and pay several hundreds of dollars for several hours of coaching. Yet by ordering today, only through this video right now, you only have to pay $47 for the information that other women have to pay $761 for. That's a 94% discount. And today only, you're saving $741. And you're getting 3 incredible gifts that would normally cost hundreds more dollars for free. So when you think about it, your choice here is really pretty easy. You've learned about a never-failing, foolproof method to wrap any man around your finger. You've seen the proof it works with your own eyes. You've heard the elated, ecstatic success stories from Susan, Gemma, Becky, Faye, Melissa, and Sophie. You've gotten an ironclad money-back guarantee, where you can get all of your money back right away if you're unsatisfied for any reason. And you're getting a 94% discount. Heck, if you think of it in terms of $47 for getting any man to do what you want in 60 days or less guaranteed, that's just $5.85 a week, which is less than 85 cents a day to get the love and connection and commitment in your life that you absolutely deserve, and all with zero risk to you. If you're anything like my hundreds of euphoric women clients who've already used this method, the day after you use this method on him, you're going to start getting a lot of curious questions about that glow on your cheeks, that sparkle in your eyes, that secret smile lurking around the corners of your mouth, and that atmosphere of electricity between you and that man that everyone else can't help but pick up on. So now this video is nearly over, which means it's time for action. And that means you now have just 2 choices. Choice 1, you do nothing. You keep going on the way you are now and try not to dwell on the incredible future for your love life that you turned your back on today. And who knows, maybe you'll get lucky, or maybe you'll flub it and wind up making it worse and end up feeling humiliated, heartsick, or maybe even heartbroken. Or there's your second choice. You invest in the future of your love life right now, risk-free. Get everything I've offered you in this video. Use the secret 3-step method on the man you want and sit back and watch as his eyes light up and his brain starts to hum with a powerful need to follow your wishes and do what you want. Experience for yourself what it feels like to have a man desperate to please you, charm you, and keep you by his side forever. And again, with my ironclad money-back guarantee, you risk nothing. I don't want you to keep fumbling from one hopeless fake solution to the next, wishing and hoping for things to change, throwing away the best years of your life, maybe never experiencing the kind of total love and adoration you absolutely deserve. When the answer is right in front of you right now, and you don't even have to do anything. All the work has been done for you, so you can just follow the steps and success comes automatically. And since you're completely covered with my 100% guarantee, there's zero risk to you at all. In fact, let me ask you a question. What is the one thing that sets apart a man who acts hateful, who's grumpy, bored, lethargic, and unloving, and a man who's drunk in love, who's so affectionate it seems crazy, and who can't see a single flaw in the woman he loves? I'll give you a hint. It's not how young or old you are. It's not how beautiful you look or don't look. Heck, some of the most beautiful actresses and models in the world get cheated on all the time. In fact, beauty, sex appeal, and how nice you are have nothing to do with how a man treats you. Instead, the one thing that truly controls how any man feels about you, the one thing that can make a man fall in love in the blink of an eye, the one thing that can spark a fire of desire in his heart no matter what you look like or how long you've been struggling for? Yep, it's the words you use. It's been said that words are the creators of emotion, which is a fancy way of saying that a man falls in love with you or out of love with you based on the way you make him feel. If you know how to make a man feel the right way, then he'll be yours, mind, body, and soul forever. So wouldn't you like to know the very words that make a man forget every other woman and fall hopelessly in love with you? Because when you know how to use the right words with a man, you get control over the emotions he feels about you instantly. No matter what you look like, no matter what he thinks of you right now, no matter how hopeless things feel to you in this second, isn't that something you'd like to experience? Wouldn't you at least like to see it for yourself? You don't even have to risk a single cent, since you get to test out the entire thing for free for 60 days anyway. In fact, the only way you risk anything at all is if you deliberately choose to lose out on this opportunity by doing nothing. And I know that's not what you want. So now this really is your last chance. Right now, you have the opportunity to gain control over how almost any man feels about you instantly. Right now, all you have to do is click the button, claim your place, and you are guaranteed to finally get what you truly want from a man. This will work for you. It's like nothing else you've ever experienced. I wish you could see that for yourself right now. But the only way you can do that is if you let me give you the tools you need to make all this real for you. So go ahead, click the button right now, claim your place in my course, and join the hundreds of other women who have finally gotten what they want from a man. You risk nothing and you have everything to gain. So now the video is ending. Now the choice is up to you. Now it's your last chance. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the inside. Click the Add to Cart button to order right now. Still watching? I bet that means you have some questions. So here are the most common questions I get and the answers to those questions. First, isn't it kind of unethical to control a man's mind like this? In a word, no. As a coach, I can tell you that women everywhere want to change the man they want, like, or love. They just don't know how to do it in a way that it works painlessly and effectively. Think about it. Every time you ask a man to do anything for you, whether it's get you a glass of water or ask you to marry him, you're trying to change his behavior, right? It's just that most of the time, women are trained by society and popular culture to use methods that just don't work. Methods like asking or begging or whining or even trying to convince a man via logic. So the best way for me to answer that question is with a question of my own. If you can accept that all women want more from the men in our lives, and truly, we all do, then why not just save both of you a lot of pain, frustration, loneliness, and heartache, and just do what works? My method uses the proven mechanics of male psychology in conjunction with time-tested theories of relationship change to help you get what you want and deserve from the man in your life. Nothing more, nothing less. Next question. Is there ever a time your method hasn't worked? Well, my method has been proven and tested in hundreds of real-life marriages, relationships, and dates. Yet there was one time it didn't work quite as expected. Jeannie, a client of mine, used the method on her ex-boyfriend to get him back. And while it did work and he asked her for a second chance, it took several weeks before he truly decided to commit himself again to Jeannie. And during that time, Jeannie used my method on several other men to make them ask her for dates. And as she started to have fun dating again with all these incredible men, she started to realize that maybe her ex wasn't quite as great as she'd always thought he was. So even though he did end up begging her tearfully for a second chance, by the time he did, Jeannie had already moved on to seriously dating another man. And she told me she would never have had the power to get over her ex in the first place if she hadn't been able to use my method to attract so many other men that she finally saw for herself how amazing her choices in love really were. Next question. Why don't you give the name of the mentalist? Why do you just keep calling him the mentalist? Well, honestly, it's because he made me promise not to. I would have told you earlier, but it seemed kind of unimportant during the actual story itself. But since you ask, he made me promise not to give his name or address because he was actually having some problems with immigration, something to do with not having a green card. So to protect his anonymity, I promised at his request that I would only refer to him as the mentalist, and he was happy with that. And yes, he gets a cut of any profits from this method being made available. Sheesh, what am I, a monster? Next question. What if I use your method and it doesn't work for me? Well, even though that's practically impossible, just send me an email within 60 days and I'll give you all your money back right away. And you and I will still be friends. Next question. If I ask for a refund, do I really get to keep all the bonuses in the system anyway? Yep, it's just my way of saying thanks for giving my method a try. Next question. Is that hair-pulling thing real, and do you really have it? Yes, it is a real condition, and it affects about 3% of all women. It's called trichotillomania, And yes, I really do have it, and it was a huge source of embarrassment and humiliation for me my whole life. That is, until I saw the mentalist, who really did cure me of it, and I am hugely, massively, tearfully grateful that he did. Last question. How long will it take me to get my copy? Well, it's a digital download, so about 12 seconds from now. Just click on the Add to Cart button, place your order, claim your place, and everything is yours immediately. See you on the inside.